supersonic cruise missile. The moment you fill in the launch code and fire, it's a supersonic cruise missile that goes at 3 times the speed of sound. So there is nothing that can intercept it. Even if the Pakistanis could see it, there's nothing they can do about it. Now they have the entire Air Force, Pakistan Air Force, up in the sky because they anticipate perhaps there could be more action and also to prevent any further action. However, their aircraft are on their side. Their aircraft are not in the 10 kilometers border line. Only in case they cross. Indian Air Force aircraft are also in the sky, as is the AWACS, which is your eye in the sky, your airborne early warning command and control system, which scans the entire Pakistan border and the LC. So the Pakistan border, Preeti, is about 3,500 odd kilometers. The line of control is about 740 odd kilometers, and the actual ground position line at the Siachen Glacier is about 110 kilometers long. So that's the Pakistani land border that is being looked at right now. The Indian Navy is out there in the Arabian Sea, and that is where you can choke Pakistan should it try anything that it should not do in haste.
All right, we're going to continue to get our viewers more. Now, this what we can confirm, and we're only giving out details that we can confirm. Operation Sindoor is a success. It was a joint operation by the Indian Army and the Air Force using precision strike weapons. This is the information that has come out. Immediately after India conducted this strike, a press release was given out by the Indian Defence Service, by the Ministry of Defence, clearly stating that Operation Sindoor, that the Indian Army conducted it on terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. What is important to note at this point of time, viewers, is that very clearly what needs to be underlined is what India said. Our actions have been focused, measured, non-escalatory in nature. No Pakistani military facilities have been targeted. India has demonstrated considerable restraint in selection of targets and method of execution. And Gaurav, I would reckon this paragraph would be the most important when it comes down to this responsible press release, which immediately India put out after it conducted these strikes.
Because this is India telling the entire world what we've done. 1, it's retribution. 2, it's non-escalatory. 3, it is not targeting any military location in Pakistan. It's only targeting a terror launch pad and a terror camp. So that is why, what can Pakistan hit back? If Pakistan then tries to hit a military location in India, then it is Pakistan that is escalating, because international law is very clear. What we are also being told that maximum military restraint from India and Pakistan. We're getting a lot of reactions that are coming in from world leaders. We are told that US President Donald Trump has also been briefed about these latest developments. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval spoke to his American counterpart Marco Rubio, and he informed Marco Rubio about the strikes that had taken place. And as of now, do keep in mind, the world wants maximum restraint both from India and Pakistan. But then Pakistan now has its entire Air Force up in the sky
Gaurav,
to respond.
There's more information coming in, and we're going to just give it out right now. It seems the Pakistan Ministry of Foreign Affairs has reacted, and I just want to read out the statement that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has put out of Pakistan, viewers. In an unprovoked and blatant act of war. So you have the Ministry of External Affairs, Gaurav, that has called India's strike on terror in Pakistan an act of war. So Pakistan is interpreting India's attack on terror spots as an act of war. I just want to take our viewers through that, and that's the news that we're breaking right now. A press release coming in from Pakistan's Foreign Affairs Ministry. In an unprovoked and blatant act of war, the Indian Air Force, which remaining within the Indian airspace, has violated Pakistan's sovereignty using standoff weapons, targeting civilian population across international border in Muridke and Bhawalpur and across the line of control in Kotli and Muzaffarabad, Azad, Jammu and Kashmir. Of course, this is Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. India's act of aggression has resulted in martyrdom of civilians, including women and children. So this is Pakistan somewhere down the line trying to push the agenda.
It's a big headline. So it's not just Jaish-e-Mohammed. It's also Lashkar-e-Taiba headquarters in Muridke that's been targeted.
5 spots.
Amazing, amazing.
Is at least
That's a big signal that India sends out, Preeti.
Fair point.
Not just Jaish-e-Mohammed, but also Lashkar headquarters has been targeted. So clear demarcation by India. No terrorist training camp or launchpad is now safe from Indian response if there's terror that comes into Indian territory.
This is huge, viewers, because earlier on we were been given to understand that there were only 3 locations, Muzaffarabad, Kotli and Bahawalpur, where India had struck. But Pakistan has admitted that even Muridke and other parts of POK have been struck. India is very clear and firm, and we have to say this multiple times, that India has only targeted terror spots. Let's listen in once again. Now, we're getting in, lots of information that's filtering in, lots of international leaders reacting. India has already briefed America because now the ball technically is in Pakistan's court because India had sought retribution. Will Pakistan retaliate? A lot of international pressure would also be building up on Pakistan. Listen in to President Donald Trump.
No, it's a shame. We just heard about it just as we were walking in the doors of the Oval. Just heard about it. I guess people knew something was going to happen based on a little bit of the past. They've been fighting for a long time. They've been fighting for many, many decades.
Any message?
And centuries, actually, if you really think about it. No, I just hope it ends very quickly. No, it's a shame. We just heard about it just as we were walking in the doors of the Oval. Just heard about it. I guess people knew something was going to happen based on a little bit of the past. They've been fighting for a long time. They've been fighting for many, many decades.
Any message?
And centuries, actually, if you really think about it. No, I just hope it ends very quickly.
All right, so that's a statement of US President Donald Trump. India has NSA, Ajit Doval, has briefed America on India's strike on terror launch pads in Pakistan in 9 locations, spread in 9 terror spots spread across 3 locations. But right now, viewers, Pakistan's statement that is coming in from the Ministry of External Affairs, the official statement from Pakistan coming in, where Pakistan has admitted that India has struck Muridke, Bahawalpur, and Muzaffarabad, Kotli, and other parts of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. While India has maintained very clearly that India has only struck terror launch pads in these locations, Pakistan seems to suggest that this was an act of aggression. They've called India's strike on terror an act of war. And they say, and I quote, "This act of aggression has caused great threat to commercial air traffic. We strongly condemn on what Pakistan terms was a cowardly action, which is flagrant of violation of the UN Charter," practically calling out India's action on terror as an act of war, admitting that the Indian Air Force, while remaining within the Indian airspace, has violated Pakistan's sovereignty. Also adding that the situation continues to evolve and Pakistan reserves the right to respond appropriately at a time and place of its choosing in accordance with the Article 51 of the UN Charter. So Pakistan clearly seeming to suggest that Pakistan will retaliate and once again pushing the propaganda, Gaurav, that civilians were attacked, seeming to suggest women and children were attacked. Clearly, this has been made very clear in India's statement, which was brought out immediately after the airstrike, that only terror launch pads across the 3 locations, which now seem to be at least 4 locations, which includes Muridke, where you have the LET headquarters as well.
It's a huge statement by government of India by targeting both Muridke and Bahawalpur. And let's quickly bring in Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon, General Tiny Dhillon, former Kashmir Corps commander, former DG of Defense Intelligence Agency, joins us on this special broadcast. General Dhillon, both Muridke and Bahawalpur have been targeted along with Kotli and Muzaffarabad. For the benefit of our viewers, please give us the significance of each and every location that India has targeted, sir.
Good morning, Gaurav, and good morning to all of you. Muridke is the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Toiba. Muridke is just very close to Lahore and is in Pakistani Punjab. So is Bahawalpur. It's the headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammed, Maulana Masood Azhar's Jaish-e-Mohammed, and it is in southern Punjab. Whereas Muzaffarabad and Kotli are the launch pads and the training camps in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And as the reports which are now coming in, India has struck with the precision weapons on all the terror camps and terror bases. India has not targeted any civilian area or a military area. Hence, the onus of escalation lies on the Pakistan. If Pakistan in retaliation attacks any of our civilian areas or India's military bases or military installations, then the responsibility of further escalation by India and further response by India on Pakistan's military and other areas will solely lies with Pakistan, and the responsibility to take the war further from here is that of Pakistan. Pakistan hit India in Pahalgam as a terror act.
Yes.
India retaliated by hitting at those terror bases. And I would like to put one more thing very clearly. There are a lot of fake videos and fake statements coming up on the social media, especially on the Twitter. Please do not believe any of these things which are saying that one aircraft dropped here, one aircraft down there. All these are fake videos. Only go by the official released videos or information.
Absolutely.
And second is, do not panic. Do not panic. As of now, no civilian areas have been hit. So I'll request the public not to panic and only look for information from the official handles.
Absolutely. General, stay with me for a moment. There's a big statement that's being made by India and officially about places that have been targeted and why. The details that have been given out says terrorists killed 26 civilians in Jammu and Kashmir on the 22nd of April in a brutal and heinous attack. India has credible leads, technical inputs and testimony of survivors and other evidence pointing towards the clear involvement of Pakistan-based terrorists in this attack. It was expected that Pakistan would take action against terrorists and the infrastructure that supports them. Instead, during the fortnight that has gone by, Pakistan has indulged in denial and made allegations of false flag operation against India. India's actions have been focused and precise. They were measured, responsible and designed to be non-escalatory in nature. No Pakistan civilian, economic or military targets have been hit. Only known terror camps were targeted. Shortly after the strikes, NSA Ajit Doval spoke to US NSA and Secretary of State Marco Rubio and briefed him on actions taken. Very clear statement, Preeti.
What Gaurav just elucidated is India briefing America, but we've been given to understand senior Indian officials through the course of the last few hours, viewers, have spoken to their counterparts in a number of countries across the world to brief them on the steps taken by India. Amongst these are the countries that have been briefed by India have been the US, the UK, the Saudi Arabia, UAE and Russia. So, General Dhillon, I want to bring you in because India on its own has sought retribution, retaliating, only striking terror launch pads, and now the ball is in Pakistan's court. General, India's statement clearly says that this was non-escalatory, this was measured, and India only attacked terrorist establishments and not army installations or establishments. Clearly, there is an effort now by India to rally international support to put pressure on what has been largely a rogue nation, Pakistan, that it doesn't retaliate.
Absolutely. India, in a very measured and very restrained reaction to the Pahalgam terror attack, has reacted and attacked only the terror bases and terror camps. India has not, and India has very clearly given out in the press release that India has not attacked any military installation or civilian area. This clearly means Pakistanis carried out a terror attack in Pahalgam. India retaliated by hitting the terror camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Now, any escalation by targeting by Indian military installations or Indian civilians lies solely on Pakistan. As regards the point you made about world opinion, India has been approaching all the world powers and through diplomatic channels to create a world opinion in our favor. It's an ongoing process and it will continue through the days to come.
It will
India is on the right path and India is in the right position and India is justified.
But General Dillon, one quick question that we'd like to ask you, because Pakistan in multiple press releases has already deemed this as an act of war. They are very clear that they are going to retaliate. Now, how prepared is India to take on that retaliation?
India has taken 14 days or 15 days to retaliate to Pahalgam terror attack. Missiles are always in a prepared position. Missiles could have been launched any day. This 14 to 15 days means India has prepared its air defenses, India has prepared its the physical defenses along the line of control, along the borders. India has also carried out drills to prepare their citizens, the mock drills and all which are planned, and it has been only carried out in some border areas. So a lot of preparatory effort has gone in, militarily and non-militarily, in the past 14-15 days, ever since Pahalgam terror attack. So India is fully prepared. Now the point comes back. India has only reacted to the terror attack in Pahalgam by hitting the terror camps. Now if Pakistan takes it to another level by hitting the military installations and civilians, that onus and the responsibility of escalation lies solely with Pakistan, and then India will reserve the right to hit back on Pakistani military installations or other areas.
But General, when you look at the escalation spiral, India has targeted terrorists. If Pakistan were to strike a military location, what would we then target? Because would that then escalate this conflict? Because Pakistan has usually threatened India with a nuclear war since its conventional forces are far inferior to India. Are we looking at a situation where it could really escalate, or we are on top of that escalation ladder in your appreciation?
Gaurav, as of now, India has retaliated to a terror attack by attacking the terror camp. Now, if Pakistan retaliates by carrying out an attack against Indian military installations or civilian areas, that will be an act of war. What India has done is purely a retaliatory action against terror action on terrorist camps. If Pakistan does anything which will amount to act of war, then India reserves all the right to react in any manner which it deems fit to hit back on Pakistan, because escalation ladder will be started by Pakistan. And as regards the nuclear bogey of Pakistan, Pakistan has been talking about nuclear weapons use, and the ministers have been talking of pow ke bomb. So I don't take that rhetoric seriously as of now. If the escalation spiral or escalation ladder was to go up, then one can gauge the situation as it comes up.
General Dillon, over the last 2 weeks, so much conversation in studios has happened about building deterrence where Pakistan is concerned. How big a message do you think India has delivered to build that deterrence?
As of now, the message is very clear. Your terrorists came and hit us in Pahalgam. We have hit the terrorist camps in your area, that is in Pakistan, Pakistani Punjab, and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. As of now, it is just you attacked through terror means, we have hit back on the terror means. Now, any escalation from here, the message is very clear. We are a country which is responsible. We are a country which acts with caution. We are a country which has, access all the restraints in spite of grave provocation by Pakistan and Pakistani terrorists. We have acted with great restraint and responsibility. Hence, from here onwards, any action by Pakistan against Indian military or against Indian civilians will be treated as an act of war.
General, give me a moment, if you will, and read the enemy's mind for us. Striking Pakistan in Pakistan's Punjab province, it's a direct hit for that Pakistani Punjabi Musalman, and that too on Asim Munir's face. This is a direct hit on Asim Munir, and he's a radical Islamist. He's not a sane general. How would he be reacting in this situation?
General, before you come in, just breaking this news, and then you can take on Gaurav's question, Gaurav. The Srinagar airport has now been shut for civilian population. Yes. That's the latest news that is coming in. Srinagar airport will now only be allowed for military operations. No civilian flights will be taking off or landing at the Srinagar airport. General, please go ahead and take that question, sir.
Yeah, first I will respond to Srinagar airport being shut for civilian traffic. It is a routine thing because now the Indian Air Force will be operating from Srinagar Air Base, and Srinagar Air Base and Srinagar Civilian Airport is a combined asset. Hence, we do not want any civilian aircraft getting hit in the bargain. So it's a very sensible step and it's a normal step. There is no need to panic. It's only that these air bases now will only be used by the Air Force and not exposing the civilian aircraft to any British or any action by Pakistani side. So that is a very, very sensible step, and I would request the public not to take it in any other manner than just a routine thing which is done in war. Now coming to Gaurav's question. India hitting inside Pakistani Punjab and hitting the pride of Pakistani Punjabi Muslims, yes. If Punjabi Pakistani Muslims will house the terrorists in Bahawalpur and Muridke, then India will hit Bahawalpur and Muridke. Because we are hitting terror camps, may it be Bahawalpur, Muridke, Muzaffarabad, Kotli. We are not differentiating where it is based. Our reaction is against terror camps and not against Pakistan territory per se. But if Pakistan does anything now against Indian military or Indian citizens inside Indian territory, that will be an act of war, and that will mean Pakistan has initiated the war. As of now, it's only retaliation to terror in a very, very dignified and restrained manner by a very responsible state, that is India.
All right, General Dhillon, appreciate you joining us, sir. We're going to continue to come back to you. But once again, viewers, we're going to take you through on what is possibly history in the making, where India and Pakistan is concerned, and the bloody history is concerned between the two nations. Gaurav, we were just speaking of how days on, since the Pahalgam attack, that deterrence needs to be built. How big a message do you think this will prove to be, where deterrence from Pakistan, especially of fomenting terrorists and with what happened in Pahalgam, is concerned?
So, when you look at that radical Islamist mind of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, they will take it as one more hit and they would want to hit back. But when you look at Pakistani society, when you look at the Pakistani army, if they are sane, they get the message that no area in Pakistan is now safe when it comes to India's response to Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror. Because, for decades we've been told that Pakistan doesn't mind if you hit POJK or if you hit KPK, Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir or Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or Sindh or Baluchistan. Pakistan is Pakistan's Punjab province. And the Narendra Modi government taking a decision to hit both Muridke and Bahawalpur simultaneously is the tightest slap that can go across that Pakistani Punjabi Musalman face. And perhaps somebody like an Asim Munir is perhaps the person who's responsible for this slap across Pakistan Army's face, and that is why they will strike back. The manner of that strike back is that big question. Will it remain restricted to artillery strikes along the line of control, which India has seen years and years of, or will it be bigger?
There's news break coming in, Gaurav. Let's quickly take that news break. Now, word coming in that precision strike weapon systems of the three forces, both Indian Army and the Air Force, were used in the attacks, including the loitering munitions. The coordinates for the attacks on terrorist camps inside Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir were provided by intelligence agencies. The attacks were carried out from Indian soil only. Gaurav, that technical term there for our viewers, will you elucidate? In the attack, there was precision weapons that were used, including loitering munitions. What does that mean? So
loitering munition is a fire and forget system. It's an artillery ammunition or a rocket ammunition, usually a 155mm howitzer munition. When you fire the loitering munition, you fire and it doesn't just hit on impact. It loiters over that area, and once it's loitering over that area, it is waiting to spot the target. Once it spots the target, it's only then that it goes and strikes. And these are, in the past 2-3 years, India has really modernized its artillery. It's really modernized its air force in terms of not just the Rafale fighter jets, but the precision strike munition that is required to take down precise targets. You know, it's not an area destruction weapon in the traditional sense of that word. It is for impact. It is to kill the adversary or the terrorist that you want to neutralize. At the same time, it does not destroy a large amount of area in that sense. So that is why this precision munition has been used by the army to take down targets, both by the army and the Air Force to take down the threat. It's been talked about since the time of the Kargil war 25 years ago. It's finally with the armed forces and used to good effect.
All right, viewers, so that's the latest information that is coming in. I'm going to take our viewers through it again. Gaurav just elucidated the kind of weaponry that was used by India to strike these terror launch pads, taking you through them again. Precision strike weapon systems of all three forces, Indian Army, Navy and Air Force, were used in the attack, including what Gaurav explained were loitering munitions. The coordinates of the attack on terrorist camps inside Pakistan and POK were provided by intelligence agencies. The attack was carried out from Indian soil. India took 2 weeks to do this, viewers, and that is what needs to be deliberated upon. This wasn't a hurried strike. Intelligence agencies were involved to actually pinpoint locations which actually point out to terror launch pads where terrorists were holed up, and that was India's choosing to hit only those targets. It was, and as mentioned earlier, Gaurav, a joint operation by the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. We also continue to have, I think, Sunilji Bhatt with us and Shivani. Sunil, coming to you. The LOC that Gaurav and I have been reporting for the last 2 hours ever since this attack lit completely hot. What are the reports filtering in? Any casualties as of now across the LOC?
Preeti, what we are learning is that Pakistan has violated ceasefire along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Punch district and even in Rajouri district. Pakistan is resorting to heavy shelling right now. Remember, in the last 12 days, Pakistan was resorting to small arms fire. But given the escalation now, Pakistan has resorted to heavy shelling and even civilian areas have been targeted in Mendhar, in Punch district. So the authorities are on their job. They are issuing advisories to people, and the bunkers that have been built in the last 10 years, those bunkers are going to come handy for the civilians now, because those are concrete bunkers. There are community bunkers also in the border villages along the India-Pakistan international border, as well as along the line of control.
Sunil, stay with me. We are coming right back to you because confirmation, Gaurav, now coming in that India has targeted JEM and LET headquarters in Pakistan, Punjab. The latest information coming in, Indian forces had selected, all right, the latest information coming in right now is that India has targeted Jaish-e-Mohammed and LET headquarters in Pakistan, Punjab. Gaurav, to hark back on the Pahalgam attack, the footprint coming in of the TRF which connects to the LET, and now LET headquarters being attacked in Muridke and the JEM in Bahawalpur.
So it's very clear the kind of attack that's taking place, is to destroy the head of that snake of terror. Jaish-e-Mohammed is headed by that Maulana of terror called Masood Azhar. Lashkar-e-Taiba is headed by that professor of terror called Hafiz Mohammed Saeed. Their headquarters have been targeted by government of India. What we are also now being told that it's a seaborne operation. It was a tri-services operation by the Indian Army, the Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force. No Indian jet has been lost. Pakistan is spreading propaganda, including by Ataullah Tarar, their information minister, who's going on Western media to say that 2 Indian jets, that is the Pakistani propaganda, were targeted on Pakistani soil, but they fell on Indian soil, is their propaganda. But that's not true. Government of India is now saying no Indian fighter jet has been lost in this operation. What's very significant, it's a tri-services operation, and that's significant because the P-8I long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft of the Indian Navy can scan multiple targets across hundreds of kilometers away and then pass on that information to the Air Force and the Army to take down a target. That's the level of precision that's been used in this attack.
The main objective, Gaurav, that is coming in and word filtering in on that, the main objective of Operation Sindoor was to hit the top terrorist leaders of Jaish in Bahawalpur and Lashkar in Muridke. Muridke is where Hafiz Saeed is holed up, and Muridke was on target. So ultimately, one of the main reasons, and on the hit list of Operation Sindoor, objective of Operation Sindoor was not just to hit at the terrorist launch pads in 9 spots across these locations, but also to take down top terrorists that have bled India for decades. That includes the Jaish and the Lashkar-e-Taiba.
You know, Preeti, this is such amazing information that's coming in about Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters being targeted, or Lashkar-e-Taiba headquarters being targeted in Muridke. You know, right from the 1993 Mumbai blast that Pakistan's ISI sponsored, to the attacks that took place, Parliament attack in 2001, IC-814 hijack when that Maulana of terror.
Retribution at various levels.
At so many different levels. 200 people had been killed in the 2006 train attack in Mumbai. Raghunath Temple was targeted. Akshardham Temple was targeted. All traced back to Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed when their headquarters is targeted.
And we still don't know what the casualties are yet. We don't know how many terrorists. So viewers, we will get that count.
We will wait for that information to filter in, and this is information that generations will be processing. Imagine, generations have bled in India. Generations will be processing this information of the head of that Hydra-headed monster called Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror. The only thing that's left to hit, whenever that is hit, is Para, the ISI headquarters. But beyond that, this is the biggest strike that has happened at Muridke and at Bahawalpur and at Kotli and at Muzaffarabad. From POK to Pakistan's Punjab province, it cannot get sweeter unless you hit Para now.
Yes, one can understand Gaurav's passion, because Gaurav's been covering terror for so long, and it's actually coming in full circle.
25 years plus.
For Gaurav there. But we're going to get back to Gaurav. We're going to get you more information right now, Gaurav. For Operation Sindoor, intelligence agency RAW had provided coordinates of 9 places. NSA Ajit Doval held more than 15 meetings with security agencies. So RAW was also involved to actually pinpoint these 9 locations that India would get ready to strike. Prime Minister Modi continuously monitoring this operation at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg. NSA Ajit Doval constantly giving him information. India now will hold a briefing on the attacks at 10:30 this morning. It's 10:30 this morning. Gaurav.
This is absolutely stunning information that is coming in, and I want to bring in Preeti, and I want to quickly bring in Mir Farid and Shivani Sharma into this conversation. Some of our finest reporters have been on ground getting you every twist and turn of India's war on Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror. Mir, quickly tell us the situation on ground. I believe even north of Pir Panjal, the situation appears to be hotting up.
Yes, Gaurav, I can tell you that I can hear sound of UAVs or drones, but there is no activity in the air right now. There are also unconfirmed reports from Pampur that in Pampur there is some UAV or something has come down. So that has obviously spread panic in the area. Now, overall, I can tell you right now there is an airy silence. But as far as borders are concerned, there are ceasefire violations that have been reported, and this is very heavy artillery firing. I'm talking of not small arms fire. So that is what I can tell you. Kashmir is slowly waking up to this, though, as I said, no major aerial activity on this side, which was expected. Till yesterday, jets were hovering and there was more about aerial patrolling. But today, there is nothing. One information I can tell you is that there are videos that are coming in from Pampur area where probably something from the sky has fell in surrounding a compound wall has been damaged. But we're getting that information. Overall, Kashmir is silent, and it seems the area where this confrontation has happened, it is not, at least on this side of the divide, Jammu and Kashmir. So that is something that I can confirm to you. But lot of tension. We have also come to know that flights at Srinagar Airport are suspended. Srinagar Airport operations are suspended. Gaurav.
Okay, stay with me. I also want to bring into this conversation Shivani Sharma, who has exclusive details, and she's been speaking to her sources in the Ministry of Defense. Apparently, Pakistanis are reporting a lot of disinformation and misinformation. But get us facts. What's the position right now south of Pir Panjal and in terms of air operations on either side, Shivani?
Gaurav, since 1:40 a.m. We started receiving the inputs, and since then here in Srinagar and around there is not much air activity, as Fareed was also speaking, but we have been getting inputs from Rajouri, Punch, we've been getting inputs from Mendhar and Uri sector, where there is heavy artillery firing going on right now from Pakistan's side, and it has been responded well by India's side. But certainly along the borders our forces are kept ready for any kind of eventuality if it happens, as Pakistan has also given out a statement that it reserved the right of retaliation. But certainly this was a tri-services strike that happened at midnight and destroyed these terror outfits in Pakistan. Major terror outfits of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed have been destroyed. They were still waiting to get the actual figure of casualty, but we are being told that this is a substantial damage to these terror outfits in Pakistan and POJK. At the borders, the Indian Air Force is actually ready with all its assets. We are also getting some fake inputs and alerts from Pakistan's side. We all need to verify, because we've been seeing a fake agenda that's been running since past a number of days from Pakistan's side. They have been trying to save their face and bring out fake alerts. And here in Kashmir, we all see that there is activation of assets, monitoring, not only in Jammu and Kashmir, but right in the national capital, where NSA along with the Prime Minister, they've been monitoring this whole Operation Sindoor. The Indian Army has strategically brought out posts right when this whole strike was happening, and then they've also said justice has been served, Operation Sindoor. So this has been a successful precision strike, one of its kind, by the Indian Armed Forces in synergy. They've been
Shivani,
doing and
the
planning
news that
this
you're
together.
breaking, and I want to come back to you. And maybe you can add to it what we've been given to understand. Scalp and hammer missiles were used in this attack. Shivani, for somebody who's been covering defense for years, what does this mean to you? Can you explain to our viewers?
Preeti, scalp and hammer missiles, they give give us the capability to strike with exact, accurate, pinpoint accuracy. We can actually strike with a focused area. This comes with the ammunitions, loitering ammunitions that is being talked about in this particular strike, where we see that particular focused area have been targeted without even touching the civil areas there, which are close there in that area, and also without even touching any kind of military assets. So these have been, the scalp missiles have that capability to pinpoint accurately, precisely hit the target without damaging anything which is beyond that whole target area. So this is how the Indian forces have used. We are still waiting for more confirmation and more details, as the press conference is scheduled for the day today.
So Shivani, these were the precision weapons that have been used.
What all assets were utilized and what was the...
All right, okay. Shivani, just stay with me. Let me also quickly take our viewers. So, word which is coming in, which of precision weapons that were used. Shivani just elucidated that to our viewers. But I also want to take you, viewers, on the latest information that is coming in right now. I'm also joined right now by Major General Sanjay Meston, defense analyst. General, big news that is coming in is that India specifically in precision targeted Lashkar-e-Taiba headquarters, Masood Azhar and his hideout and madrasas. Special ammunition was used to carry out this attack on 9 terror camps. So both Muridke and Bawalpur, Jaish-e targets and LET targets were on India's radar, and right now all 9 targets successful.
Sorry, I can't hear you. There is some, I can't even see the video, please.
All right, General Messon, we're going to try and connect to you in just a short while, but I want to bring in Shivani, who's still with us with more details coming in on that. Shivani, can you take us through it? Because word clearly coming in that it was not just terror launch pads, it was not just Jaish terror launch pads or the LET terror launch pads. It was the terrorists like Hafiz Saeed and the other terrorists that were target of this particular strike by India, and sources now telling us 9 targets, all successful. Give us details.
Hello.
Preeti, these 9 targets were actually chosen by the Indian forces together by the inputs that where all these terrorists who have been attacking and training terrorists to attack against India were involved. And this was the Lashkar-e-Taiba outfits. There were the Jaish-e-Mohammed outfits. Hafiz Saeed, who was being given a VIP treatment in Pakistan, was also targeted. And what we are learning from the sources that these 9 specific targets have been successfully destroyed in this particular Operation Sindoor. And this is a big strike that not only gives a very strong message to Pakistan but avenges the deaths of 26 innocent tourists in Pahalgam. And all the 3 forces were activated in synergy. They had planned this kind of strategic attack using the latest weapon systems. These could be like scalp and hammer missiles known for their precision strike and a range of 250 kilometers. So we need to wait for more official information coming in and the official information on the casualty figure too. But yes, this has been a successful operation. That is the assurance that has already come to us from the Indian Army and also the government of India, where it has said that this was a operation against terror after the Pahalgam attack, and all the 9 targets that were chosen they have been damaged, and there has been substantial damage on the part of these terror outfits, and there could be major casualties of the terrorists who were the most wanted terrorists by India in several attacks and terror incidents inside Indian territory.
Because LET headquarters in Muridke has also been attacked, something that has been accepted by the Ministry of External Affairs, Pakistan. Muridke is where Hafiz Saeed is holed up. His madrasas have been attacked, viewers, is what we've been given to understand. Right now, we don't know the casualty figures, but one thing in terms of confirmation that is coming in from government sources is that all 9 targets were successful. More news break right now coming in, and I'm going to take our viewers through that. Primary goal was to target top terrorist leaders, Jaish-e-Mohammed in Bahawalpur, Lashkar-e-Taiba in Muridke. Once again, the TRF was behind the Pahalgam attack, ties into the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the LET, headed by, of course, Hafiz Saeed. Jaish-e-Mohammed in Bahawalpur, Lashkar-e-Taiba in Muridke were the top targets when India struck. Why Muridke was targeted, this is all government sources coming in. Muridke near Lahore, headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba, also known as the Jamaatud Dawa. It is led by Hafiz Mohammed Saeed, the mastermind, viewers. Let's hark all the way back to 2611. On the other hand, the link after 2611, a visit to Muridke exposed LET's connection to state actors as its ideological war against India. And it goes where retribution is concerned, viewers. Today, that circle is tied where it comes down of all the terror attacks that LET fostered in India. And right now, India hitting out at the LET headquarters, and government sources seeming to suggest and tell us that all 9 targets have been successful. So, whichever way one might look at it, this night has been history in the making, where at least India's response to Pakistan is concerned. I want to bring in General Meston, who is with us. General Meston, can you hear us now? All right, okay, we don't have General Meston. Can we try and connect to General Meston, and we're going to cut across to him. But I want to cut across. We have Piyush, who's joining us with the very latest. Piyush, word coming in that the Prime Minister monitored the operation through the course of the night. He was constantly briefed by the NSA. What more can you add?
Well, that's right, Preeti. We are learning from the top government sources that PM Narendra Modi has monitored the operations throughout the night. He was also briefed by various officials. So remember that in the last 2 weeks, Prime Minister himself has been chairing various meetings. He has been in touch with top officials of the government. He has been meeting with NSA, Home Secretary, Defense Secretary, and various other officials. And now what we are told is that all these 9 targets have been successful, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been constantly monitoring the operations throughout the night. That's what the top sources in the government have confirmed to us. So one thing is clear that all the targets have been successful, and Prime Minister was constantly monitoring each and every development. You would remember that the day Pahalgam terror attack had taken place, Prime Minister had cut short his Saudi Arabia visit, and he was when he was landed in Delhi, he was briefed by NSA, Foreign Affairs Minister, Foreign Secretary, and then very next day he chaired our Cabinet Committee on Security. And today also, let us tell to our viewers that at 11 a.m. the Cabinet meeting is expected, and we can expect some sort of word there in the Cabinet also. So,
but between 10 to 11 a.m. in the morning, India will brief the world and Indian citizens of the details of Operation Sindoor, which has been a huge success, is what have been indicated, viewers. The modalities of that, with justice being delivered. Once again, we want to hark back on why India's hand was forced, why this was necessary, and one needs to only go back as early as 2 weeks ago and what happened in Pahalgam. There's news break that's coming in right now, viewers. Now, now all of this is not to create panic. These are all advisories, especially for citizens who are looking at flying to areas like Srinagar, Jammu, Amritsar, Leh, Chandigarh, Bikaner, Dharamshala. Well, Indigo, the airline, has come up with a statement, and I want to bring in Sunilji Bhatt on that. Due to changing airspace conditions in the region, our flights to and fro from Srinagar, Jammu, Amritsar, Leh, Chandigarh, Bikaner, Dharamshala are impacted by the current airspace restrictions. So understandably, not to create panic, but standard operating procedure, especially at a time like this. There have been restrictions where airspace is concerned. Sunil, what more can you add?
Well, Preeti, Indigo has issued a statement, and as per that statement, it has said that due to changing airspace conditions in the region, our flights to and fro from Srinagar, Jammu, Amritsar, Leh, Chandigarh, Bikaner, Dharamshala are impacted by the current airspace restrictions. So clearly, the government, the security agencies are taking, precautionary measures, because after India's strong action against terror camps and, and against the LET headquarters, India's strike on Jaish's headquarters deep inside Pakistan in Punjab province's Bahawalpur. Now it's likely that Pakistan may try to resort to any kind of misadventure. We are ready. Our Air Force is on alert. All the 3 wings of the army are on alert, and in case there is any escalation, we are ready to give a befitting reply to the enemy. But for now, situation remains very sensitive. High alert has been sounded across the length and breadth of Jammu and Kashmir, particularly at sensitive places. That includes line of control and India-Pakistan international border. We are ourselves heading towards some border areas, because there are reports that there is heavy shelling along the line of control. Pakistani troops have now resorted to heavy shelling, and they are targeting the villages that are located.
Sunil, I'm going to come in, and I want to just take our viewers through the latest news break that's coming in. And viewers, this is the first visual proof of India's airstrike on Pakistan. Hafiz Saeed's mosque has been hit in Muridke. The mosque has been linked to the LET terror activities. These visuals that you see on your television screen is the strike on Muridke. This is the mosque of Hafiz Saeed. Hafiz Saeed lives in Muridke. There have been multiple strikes in Muridke. The first visual evidence coming in right now, visual proof of India's strike on Pakistan. Hafiz Saeed's mosque hit in Muridke. One thing, it's all tying in together, viewers, that the ultimate aim of India's strike was not just to take on the terror launch pads across the border in Pakistan, but actually, attack the monsters who foment their terror in Pakistan, the likes of Hafiz Saeed. And what you see on your television screen is a reflection of that. Shivani, what more can you add to this? All right, we seem to have lost Shivani. We're going to try and connect to Shivani, but these visuals that you're going to see on your television screen is the first visual proof of the mosque of Hafiz Saeed being hit in Muridke. Once again, I'm going to take you back to the official statement that came out and what our sources seem to suggest, that these were precise strikes that have taken place with precision weapons, and all of these 9 sites were clearly pinpointed by Indian intelligence. The RAW was one of the key figures in identifying these 9 locations across the border, and one of them is Hafiz Saeed's mosque in Muridke. More news coming in. What we've been given to understand that escalation across the border where LOC is concerned, multiple ceasefire reports coming in from Pakistan. Now, word also coming in half hour ago, Pakistan NSA, DG ISI, Lieutenant General Asim Malik dialed the US Secretary of State and a statement is awaited. So clearly India has briefed America. Pakistan also now reaching out. Pakistan has already deemed India's attack on these terror launch pads and an attack on terrorists like Hafiz Saeed an act of war. I want to cut across to Mir Farid, my colleague who's joining us. Mir, ever since 9:45 when these attacks have taken place, the LOC is hot. Heavy shelling across the border, multiple reports of ceasefire violations by Pakistan, and shelling now clearly in terms of artillery, it's heavy shelling. What are you witnessing? What are you hearing? What are you picking up?
Well, yes, in fact, shelling is happening. We spoke to some border residents. They are in panic, and it's not about small arms fire. Heavy at artillery. Artillery guns have been used, and those are pounding border areas, different areas. We're getting reports, but as far as Srinagar skies are concerned, they are silent. There is just a slight, you can hear the sound of UAVs, drones, but they are very high, but no major fighter jet activity. But I can also confirm to you that there is a plane crash, a fighter jet that has crashed in Pampore. That has happened in a residential area. Been told that this could be a Pakistani fighter jet that has been shot down by
That's big
Indian
news,
air battery.
Mir. Mir, would you give us more details? Can you give us more details? What are you telling us? You're saying a fighter jet, an F-16 of Pakistan, has been shot in Indian territory. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes, absolutely. This has happened in Pampore, in the outskirts of Srinagar, and fire tenders were rushed to the location. There was a massive ball of fire as it hit the ground. Fortunately, we've been told that it did not crash straight on a house. It was an open area, very close to a house. And this could be a Pakistani fighter jet. Now, it could be an F-16, JF-17 Thunder. That obviously we can confirm in some time, but I can confirm to you that this has happened. And the fire services have rushed to the
Mir, it's
location.
a Pakistani fire jet. Once again, can you confirm? I'm sorry, I'm asking you that question again. You just want to put out verified, responsible information on air. What you're seeming to suggest is that a Pakistani jet had crossed over Indian territory. It's been shot on the Indian side.
Yes, that's the preliminary info I can give you, and we've also got some visuals on the same where fire services Jawans are trying to extinguish the fire. It is a fighter jet, and the debris of the fighter jet is scattered across that particular area. Now, exactly whether it is a F-16 or what is the brand of this particular fighter jet, we do not know.
Is the pilot dead, or do we have any indication of the pilot of this jet?
Well, that's not clear because on the site, as of now, there are no bodies that have been recovered. But obviously, we know that he could have bailed out using the parachute, and that could have landed anywhere. That's also a possibility. But these are
so he could have ejected. Right now, no body is what we have been given to understand. Mir, once again, you know, viewers, we will only put out verified information responsibly at this time. It's very, very sensitive these times, and we only want to give out verified information. Mir, you're saying that you're confirming to our viewers that a fighter jet of Pakistan has been shot down in Indian territory, Pampore sector. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes, absolutely. It is in the outskirts of Srinagar. Initially, they thought that this could be a UAV, but now the visuals that we're getting, I can see those visuals. This is definitely a fighter jet. The fuselage.
Mir, I'm going to come right back to you. Hold on to that information. Huge news break that Mir was giving us. I'm going to come back to that. But I want to also take our viewers through the latest news break that we're putting out. Sources have confirmed to India today that the Indian Armed Forces have conducted airstrikes inside Pakistani territory using Rafale fighter jets equipped with Scalp cruise missiles and Hammer precision-guided munitions. Indian Navy assets also involved for 9 precision strikes carried out from within the Indian airspace, targeting locations across the border. When it comes down to Scalp and Hammer missiles, viewers, these are precision weapons that we've been speaking of, that India has used over the course of the last 2 hours. The information that was filtering in is on these precision weapons that were used in the strike on by India in 9 locations in Pakistan. Scalp and Hammer precision munition guided missiles, where the exact location where these missiles need to hit is loaded in and it doesn't deviate from the target. Shivani, you want to add more to this news break?
Preeti, what we are getting is that this was a well-coordinated tri-services Operation Sindoor, where the air assets as well as the naval assets were also deployed along with the Indian Army. And the kind of weapons that could have been used, because, we are waiting for official confirmation, but what the sources are telling, the kind of precision strike that has taken place, this could have been using the Rafale jets and the Hammer missiles, the Scalp missiles that are known for their stealth technology. They cannot be detected in the radar easily, and they can fly up to a low altitude of 30 kilometers. So this could be one of the missiles that has been used against this terror outfit, all these 9 targets that have been destroyed now in Pakistan. And remember, in the naval assets also, the naval assets that were being deployed there, we were seeing that there were some inputs of the P-8I, that is a naval aircraft used for reconnaissance and surveillance purposes. So this was a well-coordinated effort by the armed forces. The missiles that have been used are Hammer and Scalp missiles that are known for their precision strike in a range of around 250 kilometers, and they can fly up to a low altitude without being detected. The stealth technology, the lethality of these weapons is well known, and thus it is being indicated that these could be the weapons that were used in this.
So Shivani, you're actually telling us that this was a tri-service missile strike. This is huge because this is coordination between the Army, the Air Force and the Navy, and in all possibility, Shivani,
So this is how this coordinated operation went on, and we are waiting for more official inputs, Preeti, as the press conference is scheduled for the day at around 10:30 in the national capital, where we'll be getting more details of the casualties to the kind of execution that this was done in this operation, and what all weapon systems and assets were utilized during the operation, and what are the future plans.
So, Shivani,
as we already
what we can
have been
confirm,
reporting that there are
Shivani, what we can confirm, it was a coordinated tri-service missile strike. And that is huge because it was a coordination between all 3 forces, a tri-service missile strike on these Pakistan targets. All right, we don't seem to have Shivani with us. We're going to try and cut across to our other reporters getting us more. But viewers, I want to... All right, we do have Major General Sanjay Meston with us, defense analyst. General, can you hear me now? General, can you hear me? All right, okay, we don't seem to have Major General Sanjay Meston, at least as of now. We're going to try and cut across to him. But right now, viewers, what we can tell you, that Operation Sindoor, where precision weapons were concerned, a coordinated tri-service missile strike, we've been given to understand that even the Navy was deployed, and in all probability, some of the precision weapons that are being spoken of were actually fired by the Indian Navy. The Indian Armed Forces have conducted airstrikes inside Pakistan territory using Rafale fighter jets equipped with Scalp cruise missiles and Hammer precision guided munitions. Indian Navy assets also involved for 9 precision strikes carried out from within Indian airspace, targeting locations across the border. Shivani, what more can you add to this? Because it does seem that all of this was a well-coordinated tri-service missile strike on Pakistan.
Preeti, certainly this was a well-coordinated tri-services operation. That's what the release also says, that the Operation Sindoor was a well-carried-out strike against the terror outfits at different locations in Pakistan and POJK. In fact, these 9 targets have been neutralized, they have been destroyed, and the kind of execution was done was well indicated in advance since last 2 weeks, when we were seeing all the 3 Navy all the 3 chiefs, including the Navy chief, the Air chief, and the Army chief. They were briefing the Prime Minister in the presence of Raksha Mantri, the CDS and the NSA. So it was quite indicative of the fact that all the 3 forces will be coordinating for a kind of strategic action that they will be taking ahead to neutralize and avenge the deaths of the 26 people in Pahalgam. And that's what has happened. What the sources have been indicating to us, Preeti, that the Navy was also involved, and we've been seeing how the operational drills were in action in the Arabian Sea. A lot of demonstrations were shown. Even the BrahMos was activated in one of the operations that we saw right after the Pahalgam attack. And we also saw how the P-8I aircraft of the Indian Navy was also conducting some drills in this whole area in the Arabian Sea. That means this was a closely coordinated operation between the 3 forces, the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy. The kind of assets that have been indicative of being used are the Rafale jets, the Sukhois and the other fighters of the Indian Air Force that have carried out this precision strike against Pakistan's terror outfits. And very important out here to mention that none of the military infrastructure or the civilian infrastructures have been hit in this kind of strike. That speaks about the precision, and this also involves munition, loitering munition, that is the most advanced munition that is used for a specific target in a focused area. So a localized target in a specific area can be hit hard with whole lethality. These missiles that we are speaking about, it has been indicated by the sources, Preeti, that these missiles could have been used in this kind of operation. These are known for their lethality, their stealth, their precision on the targets, pinpoint targets, and the low altitude flying, 30 to 40 meters of altitude that can be taken. So we need to understand that this was a well-coordinated operation of the best of our weapon systems, techniques, and collaboration synergy. What India has been working on since past few years on the synergy between the forces, the Indian Army, Navy, and the Air Force. And in this particular Operation Sindoor, that synergy also shows, that target also shows, the lethality and the stealth weapon system usage is very evident. Preeti.
Well, ultimately, viewers, this is retribution. 2 weeks down, it's retribution. Maybe if there is something called closure to family members of the 26 innocent lives that were lost in the Pahalgam airstrike, the Pahalgam terror strike. All right, viewers, we are getting in more information right now, and I want to bring in Sunil G. Bhatt, who's going to take us through all the 9 locations that were struck by India. Sunil ji, you want to come in and give us more details? All right, we have Mir Farid with us. Mir, Bawalpur, Muridke, Gulpur, Bimber, Chak, Amru, Bagh, Kotli, Sialkot, Muzaffarabad are the 9 locations which are hit. All of them where the intelligence was amassed by RAW, all of them terror launch pads, some of them hideouts of terrorists like Hafiz Saeed.
Absolutely, Preeti. This has taken quite a bit of homework as far as intelligence sees and the armed forces are concerned, because these are all hideouts of the Jaish-e-Mohammed Lashkar, especially Jaish-e-Mohammed, because while we have been repeatedly saying that they have been operating in shadow names like PAFF, like TRF, Kashmir Tigers, but we know that the mothership obviously is the Jaish-e-Mohammed, and we know who are operating Jaish-e-Mohammed and from where. So this is based on intel inputs from agencies, and on the basis of which these targeted attacks have happened, precise targeted attacks against locations of Jaish-e-Mohammed, especially Lashkar, in these 9, at least 8 to 9 sites which are in and around POK, Muzaffarabad. And we know that post the Pahalgam attack, and considering that Pakistan was expecting a response from India, some of these sites or terror launch pads and camps were vacated, but there were still reports that there were camps where there were Jaish and Lashkar terrorists. They're very much present, and it seems that all these sites have been targeted. One thing that has been made clear from the Indian side, from the army, is that no civilian assets, no Pakistani civilian assets or army formations have been targeted. It is precisely targeting the terror infrastructure, which has been bleeding India since ages. So that part has been made clear, though there are now reports coming in from Pakistan. Their DGISPR and others have said that, in fact, spoken about some casualties, at the same time saying that they will retaliate at their time of choosing and at their own time. So that threat has come from Pakistan. And Preeti, I can also tell you that a fighter jet, as we have reported, has crashed in Papur. And in fact, we'll in some time, although we've got the visuals, get complete reports, because right now, even the security forces, the police hasn't reached the location. Based on eyewitness accounts and fire and emergency accounts, that it is a fighter jet. There is fuselage. There is a complete the damage to the fighter jet's parts are scattered everywhere. So that information I can confirm to you. But yes, a massive strike where all built forces, be it the army, all parts of the defense, the trial services, their assets have been used to damage and to smash the terror infrastructure in Muzaffarabad, in and around POK. Preeti?
All right, so we gave out details of 9 locations, the terror pads where India struck. But, Mir, I want to get you back in. You mentioned, once again, I want to take you through the details that are coming in of a wreckage of a fighter jet in Pampore sector is what you're speaking of. Pakistan fighter jet that crossed over to Indian territory has been shot down. We don't know whether the Pakistani pilot is dead or alive.
Well, Preeti, as of now, sketchy information coming from the location. But yes, we've got confirmation that it is a fighter jet. Exactly which fighter jet, which brand, we do not know. We also have no confirmation about the pilot. So that obviously is something that will be clear in some time. But it was a massive fireball that locals reported. Post that, the Fire and Emergency Services Department was informed. And luckily, it has fell in between houses. It has smashed a compound wall. But we've been told that no one has been hurt on the ground. So that is a bit of fortunate news coming in, because it's a very congested area in Papur where this incident has happened. A fighter jet that has crashed, and right now, in fact, I can tell you the wreckage is scattered all over. The fuselage, the nose, everything is evident. So we'll get to know in some time exactly in fact, which plane and what exactly was the nature of this particular crash.
You continue to stay with me. Joining me right now is U.S. Congressman Shri Thanedar, who's given out a statement supporting India, saying my statement on Indian strikes targeting terrorist infrastructure, terrorism should not be tolerated. Shri Thanedar is joining us with us. Thank you, Mr. Thanedar. We're getting a lot of support, global support at that. What India has done is nothing less or more than just retribution. We've given out a responsible statement in which we've clearly underlined that this should not be seen as escalation. This was measured, non-escalatory, and above all, only targeted terror launch pads and nothing to do with Pakistan army establishment, sir.
Yes.
The question that I'd want to ask you is, India has briefed America. Pakistan has also gotten in touch with America. Now, will there be considerable global pressure on Pakistan? Because technically the ball is now in Pakistan's court. Pakistan deems what we have clearly defined as a retaliatory measure to attack terrorism as an act of war.
That's right. And, what I've asked the U.S. State Department to do is do a thorough investigate the attack in Pahalgam, where innocent Hindus were killed. That needs to be investigated, needs to be found out. Initial indications are that Pakistan has supported these terrorists. This is a state-supported terrorism act is what it looks like right now. But that needs to be investigated, as I'm asking for a congressional briefing on that. But this is a time of need, and the United States must stand by India as India fights terrorism. United States has stood by Israel when Israel is fighting terrorism. In the same way, United States must stand with India. I think India has done a very responsible response. They could have gone wild, but they did not. They have targeted specific infrastructure related to the terrorist attack, and India has a right to protect itself.
All right, appreciate you joining us at this morning, our morning, early morning. Appreciate you joining us. Right now there has to be a global responsibility as well. India, over the course last 3 or 4 hours, has briefed many nations on why India conducted this strike, the nature of this strike, why it only targeted terror launch pads and terrorists, and hoping right now, sir, that enough diplomatic pressure is built on Pakistan that it doesn't retaliate.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pakistan, not only that, but Pakistan must stop supporting terrorism. This is something that United States can use its relationship with Pakistan to ask for that, demand that. And if Pakistan continues to support terrorism, then U.S. must take economic sanctions. U.S. must use its power to make sure that Pakistan complies with its request to stop supporting terrorism across the world.
Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Thanedar. Thank you there, and for your solidarity and your support. Appreciate it. All right, viewers. Now, news coming in. Pakistan, like we pointed out earlier, has confirmed the India missile strike. The Pakistan Army has also confirmed till now that 8 have been killed in this strike there. So that's the latest news that is coming in, that Pakistan Army has given out a figure of 8 that have been killed. We also gave you the first visual evidence, and we're going to play that again, which is in Murid Ke, the mosque of Hafiz Saeed being attacked by these precision weapons. It's a tri-service strike, and nothing can not take away from the moment in history that viewers, that India stands on, where its retaliation to Pakistan is concerned. This has been truly a never seen before kind of retaliation, which was promised by the government and has been delivered. Aptly titled Operation Sindoor. Operation Sindoor is a success. Justice, as per the Indian Army and India, has been delivered. The reason why this operation was called Operation Sindoor, because there were many young couples who, after getting married for their honeymoon, newlywed, had gone to Pahalgam, and there the husbands were picked and killed on the basis of their faith of being Hindu. I want to immediately cut across to my colleague Shivani, who's joining us live for more. Shivani, initial information coming in from Pakistan. The Pakistan Army has confirmed that 8 have been killed in this strike by India.
Preeti, these figures have come from the Pakistani army, but we cannot rely much on Pakistani figures because we know Pakistan of hiding its own casualties too. And what actually the casualties have been, we need to wait for the official confirmation at the press conference. But yes, Pakistan is conducting this briefing right now. It has already confirmed all those locations that were mentioned by India about these Operation Sindoor strikes, where major terror outfits have been, and Hafiz Saeed, for that matter, other Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed outfits have been there in all these locations. So We have been told through our sources that there has been substantial damage. No damage to the civil population out there, because these were the precision strikes that were carefully managed and strategically planned. There is information about how the three forces have conducted these strikes, but yes, Pakistan has confirmed that India has hit its terror outfits very hard. It has been bringing out this information now, as we've already spoken to the United States. NSA has briefed the United States about this operation that has been taken on by India, in which United States was standing as a support to India, as was conveyed in multiple statements, Preeti. Now, Pakistan has also apprised the United States about the same, and Pakistan has already given out a statement in which it has called India's Operation Sindoor an act of aggression, to which it reserves the rights to retaliate. But at the same time, we are also getting inputs from the line of control, Preeti, where ceasefire violations continue. But important and notable is that this time heavy artillery gunfires are being heard in this location, to which Indian Army is retaliating befittingly. But certainly there has been substantial damage in Pakistan and POJK, where these terror outfits were running, sheltering, harboring these terrorists who were acting against India and were also involved in the Pahalgam terror incident.
Shivani, stay with me on the news that we are breaking right now. Of the 9 targets successfully hit by the Indian forces, 4 are in Pakistan and 5 in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. So 9 in total, 4 in Pakistan and 5 in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The 4 in Pakistan in all probability have to be in the Punjab province of Bahawalpur. The targets in Pakistan include Bahawalpur, Muridke, Sialkot, Sarjal. Special ammunition was used to target the terror camps. It was a tri-service missile strike. Shivani, I want to pull you in on this. Can you take us through the details that are now coming in, the micro details of what has been a successful Operation Sindoor?
Sure, Preeti, this has been a strategically, meticulously planned operation by the Indian Defence Forces, not only Army, not only Air Force, but Indian Navy, Air Force and the Army all together. They had planned the strategic precision strike against the terror outfits in Pakistan and POJK in different areas, where 9 locations have been hit and neutralized, causing substantial damage to the terror outfits in this location. And the kind of ammunition that was used seems to be loitering ammunition, loitering munition that we say, because this is important to understand that India does not want to escalate any kind of tension, any kind of war with Pakistan. India believes that only and only the perpetrators, the terrorists, should be hit hard. No civilian should be damaged in this whole process. That is why specific choosing of these particular weapon systems was done. And we have to wait for more official confirmation on this, Preeti. But we know that how India has been transforming and having these kind of modern weapon systems that can be used for precision striking without causing any damage to the other targets other than what we want to. So these are the 9 specific locations, a focused, measured, precise operation that was carried out in Pakistan, because what the statement also says that no military outfit or no military infrastructure was touched during these strikes which were carried out in Operation Sindoor. No civilians were hit. Only these particular terror outfits where we've been seeing as the bases, the hubs of major terrorists who have been acting against India, be it Lashkar-e-Taiba or the Hafiz Saeed, who's been given a shelter out there, being treated as a VIP. So there might be substantial inputs on the number of casualties, the terrorists who have been destroyed and neutralized in this particular attack, and also the kind of weapon systems that have been utilized and used by the Indian forces. This was a coordinated, precise operation by the Indian forces, to which we were seeing a lot of deliberations happening in the national capital under the monitoring of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is still monitoring the whole situation while this operation was carried out, Preeti. NSA has already briefed the United States, about this whole operation. A number of ambassadors have been briefed about this this operation that India has taken on. And at 1:30 a.m., the operation started. To be precise, it continued for a few minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, when India has hit these terror outfits hard in Pakistan without even entering the Pakistan's airspace. So we have those kind of weapon systems that have a long range. We have a number of missile systems, number of fighters that are capable of these kind of strikes. So what we are getting from the sources that this was a coordinated operation that had gone inside Pakistan without even entering their airspace and hit them with precision using the scalp and hammer missiles that are the most lethal stealth weapons that cannot be detected easily in radar systems. So this is the power of India's defense forces synergy and the modernization that India has been carrying out in past few years, Preeti. But yes, the situation is still developing. Indian forces are all deployed and on a high alert, not only in Jammu Kashmir, but on all the borders and inside also, as we were reporting of a mock drill that was to be conducted today around 4 o'clock. So we have to see that how the situation develops, what happens next, because LOC is activated. We've been reporting how heavy artillery firing goes on there in different sectors, to which India has been retaliating, and India is ready for any kind of action if Pakistan gets into any misadventure after Operation Sindoor. Preeti.
You know, Shivani, continue to stay on with me. Viewers, there's more breaking news coming in. And once again, none of this is to spread panic, just to give out information, because there are going to be travel advisories. There is going to be restriction where airspace is concerned. And I want to bring in Sunil G. Bhatt, because after Indigo, Sunil, now Air India has come up with its own travel advisory where many flights to many locations, especially where Rajasthan, Punjab, Kashmir are concerned, stand cancelled. Will you give us details?
Yes, Preeti, Air India has issued an advisory a short while ago, and as per that advisory and as per the statement that has come, the Air India has said that that it has cancelled its flights from certain locations, Jammu, Srinagar, Leh, Jodhpur, Amritsar, Bhuj, Jamnagar, Chandigarh and Rajkot. And these flights have been cancelled till 12 noon, and after that a call will be taken that what needs to be done next. And there are two international flights en route to Amritsar that are now being diverted to New Delhi. Remember, Amritsar is located right next to India-Pakistan international border. So all kind of precautionary measures are being taken, and this is being done in view of the escalation of tensions between India and Pakistan. But India has hit Pakistan hard, and Pakistan has been taught a lesson. Pakistan did not mend its ways. Time and again, India urged Pakistan to stop exporting terror, to shut its terror factories, but Pakistan continued to sponsor terrorism against India. And recently what happened in Pahalgam, a horrific terror attack took place. Innocent people were targeted, and this was the tipping point. And now we decided to hit Pakistan hard, not only in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, but we have hit the targets of Lashkar and Jaish deep inside Pakistan, in Pakistan's Punjab province, and this is huge. And that is why now high alert has been sounded across the length and breadth of Jammu and Kashmir, particularly at sensitive places, whether it's the line of control and India-Pakistan international border. What we are learning from our sources is that Pakistan is resorting to heavy shelling right now along the line of control, particularly in Poonch district. Civilian villages have also been targeted. We are ourselves on our way to the border areas, and we are going to get ground reports from there. Preeti, back to you.
You know, Sunil, you might want to add to it, because as we're going to go along, viewers, we're going to give out information little by little, the fine print of what has been a hugely successful and historic operation that India has carried out with acute precision, viewers. More details coming in now. We gave you the list of the 9 locations that India has struck. Now, there is a new terror control room, or was, hopefully, a new terror control room in Muzaffarabad, which is in POK, from where Pakistan Army and the ISI plan major infiltration bids on Indian soil. The plan for infiltration of Jaish terrorists was always prepared from the new control room 88, built in Muzaffarabad, Pakistan. It was the launch pad of Jaish. The terrorists used to go to transit camps called Savai Nala in Muzaffarabad, Pakistan for infiltration with the help of the Pakistan army, and this is what was struck by India. The terrorists from Muzaffarabad were always bought for infiltration from the Dudhnia launch pad, 98 kilometers away from the transit camp of Savai Nala. So all of the 9 spots that India, these 7 locations. Very responsibly after that, India gave out a statement stating that this is not an escalation. This was measured. It had to happen, especially after Pahalgam, and India only attacked terror launch pads and nothing to do with installations of the army. On the other side, clearly Pakistan is retaliate at a time of its own choosing. India at the back of, kid you not, what is history in the making. Kid you not. What has happened is history in the making of India's retaliation to Pakistan of constantly fomenting terror. But as we go on, we are giving you, the fine print, the details that are coming through of what has been a super historic and successful Operation Sindoor. Retribution, revenge, and if one can call it, closure to 26 families and their loved ones who lost their loved ones in the Pahalgam terror attack. Closure at some level for them. Aptly titled, and sadly, there's a bit of irony to it, Operation Sindoor, because many young women lost their husbands newlywed on their honeymoon to this terror attack at Baisaran Meadow in Pahalgam. These visuals that are coming in would possibly burn into the memory space of anyone who would think of fomenting trouble or terror in India again. This is payback, viewers, and this is as big as it gets. I have with me Ankit Kumar, my colleague, who's going to take us through the 9 locations that India picked, curated as terror hotspots and targeted them with precision weapons. Ankit.
So Preeti, the entire list, although the official announcement from the Indian Armed Forces is yet to be made, but going by whatever official word that has been put in so far from Indian side, as well as the press conference that was just addressed by the DG ISPR from Pakistan Army, we can divide the entire area into 2 parts. First was the HQ. When we talk about Bahawalpur, when we talk about Muridke again is so critical. We talk about Pahalgam. What about justice for 26/11? When 26/11 happened, all the subsequent reports pointed out to Muridke. That was the place where people like Ajmal Amir Kasab, they were recruited, they were trained, right? So a Lashkar HQ in Pakistan, again, Bahawalpur, Jamia Subhanallah. Very interestingly, DG ISPR said east of Ahmadpur. He did not say Bahawalpur, right? East of, because everybody understands Bahawalpur is Jaish-e-Mohammed HQ, right? Interestingly, in March, first week, India Today, we did a story, we brought a story. We showed using satellite pictures how the HQ of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Bahawalpur has been expanding in size, and that was very much visible in satellite imagery. That was only 2 months back. So Bahawalpur has been targeted. As per Pakistani military, it's Ahmadpur East. So what we are given to believe is that Jamia Subhanallah, the HQ of Jaish-e-Mohammed, has been targeted. We now have confirmed visual evidence from Muridke that the entire mosque has been taken down. So unlike
this is Hafiz Saeed's mosque.
This is Lashkar-e-Taiba HQ. This is the place where 26/11 perpetrators came from. This is the place where recruitment happens. All the dossiers point out way back from 2009. All these dossiers, they all point out to this place called Muridke. And now we have visual confirmation, unlike Balakot, where very precise weapons were used.
Only satellite imageries were in place at that point of time. And now
we now have visual confirmation based on local social media accounts who have posted these videos 2-3 hours back, confirming that visual damage can be seen. The second part of these attacks, POK, Muzaffarabad, those kind of places. These were what we call terror launch pads. Temporary places, not HQ level places, but these are the places where recruits who have been trained are sent in POK. So the entire plan, the entire target list can be divided into two parts. One, places like Kotli, Muzaffarabad, Pakistan-occupied
and then
Kashmir.
Province Punjab, which is headquarters of
mainland Pakistan, where HQs, recruitment centers, training centers of Jaish as well as Lashkar-e-Taiba exists.
So basically, Ankit, these 7 locations that India struck were chosen, curated with precision, as you said very clearly, as Ankit made it clear, divided in 2 categories. One, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, terror launch pads, and then headquarters of terrorist organizations like the Jaish, like the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the LET. And viewers, tie it in, the TRF, responsible, which has taken responsibility for the Pahalgam attacks, ties into the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the LET. The LET responsible for 2611. So it's retribution coming in full circle, not just for Pahalgam. You go all the way back to 2611 and the hundreds of terror attacks that have taken place in the country, which had the footprint of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Correct, Ankit?
The visuals that we are showing on our screen is from Muridke.
The one that are coming in of the burning building.
This burning building is the place, the heart of Lashkar operations for more than 20 years now. This is the heart where Hafiz Saeed, the Lashkar-e-Taiba, they all take their oxygen from. So they recruit from all parts of Pakistan, but the training, etc., all according to several intelligence dodges. You know, after 2611, there was so much of documentation on how Lashkar works, where the recruits were hired, where they get training, where they get all sorts of military training. Every proof of evidence pointed towards this place called Muridke. You know, Muridke was perhaps the most.
So India struck the nerve center of terror.
Yes, and let me repeat: unlike 2016 September. Unlike February 2019, this time the damage is very much visible, as you can see in these pictures.
Exactly, because till now even Pakistan denied the surgical strikes. You know, there was evidence in terms of only satellite imagery, and here you have Pakistan admitting that India struck. You have visual evidence that is coming in from multiple sources. More details coming in, more news break coming in. Full details of India's strike on Pakistan and POK. Of 9 targets hit by India, terror hub in Muzaffarabad exposed, Pakistan Army ISI control room 88 used for infiltration plots. Sources suggest, now all of this is coming in from source-based information. Pakistan Army and ISI plan major infiltration operation from this new base. The control room, codenamed 88, used to coordinate Jaish terror moves. Jaish launch pad active inside Muzaffarabad facility. Infiltration blueprints regularly made in control room 88. Pakistan Army ISI-backed terror network uncovered. Terror launch operations traced to Muzaffarabad hub. And that is what was attacked and struck by India in the missile strikes. Munish Pandey, my colleague, joining us for more. Munish, what more can you add?
Well, Preeti, it appears that India is struck where it was needed the most, and that is why very specifically the input were not only received but it was materialized also, because this time India has struck on the control room of Jaish-e-Mohammed. There is a place in Muzaffarabad called Sawai Nala. It is 98 kilometers away from Muzaffarabad, and that place was used by Jaish-e-Mohammed as a control room. It was codenamed 88, and with the help of ISI, with the help of Pakistan Army, many activities were planned against India. So this was a terror hub as far as Pakistan is concerned. ISI was fully involved in this. Even Pakistan or army was involved in the operations of this Jaish-e-Mohammed control room. But now what we have been given to understand is that this place was targeted by India, and now it has been struck down in the Indian strike, which is in Muzaffarabad. So it's a huge success, not only for Indian Army, not only for India, but as far as India's action against terrorism is concerned. Remember, India this Muzaffarabad reference came just within 24 hours when the Pahalgam terror attack took place. And that time there was credible information that even the terrorists who were involved in this terror attack, they were from Muzaffarabad, they were trained in Muzaffarabad, and that is why this input was particularly developed. All the information was gathered, and later when the inputs were confirmed in today's strike, this particular control room has been struck down. Preeti.
Well, you're right there. Vengeance, revenge, retribution, whatever we might call it, history has been scripted, viewers, today. And it ties in not just to Pahalgam, with multiple terror attacks that Pakistan chose to bleed India with. I want to also bring in, Munish, with what Munish was elucidated, Ankit, this is the second part that you were speaking of, because at one part you spoke of mainland Pakistan, which of course the province of Punjab, Muridke, targeted the headquarters of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. On the other hand, the code word 88, where it was the headquarters of the Jaish, which was Pakistan-occupied Kashmir.
So, I know we are calling it Operation Sindoor, but this again, and it is so important to reiterate, this is not only limited to Pahalgam. When we talk about Bahawalpur, why Bahawalpur is so critical? You remember the Parliament attack. You remember the Pathankot air base attack. All these attacks are linked to Jaish-e-Mohammed. Jaish-e-Mohammed HQ, again, Bahawalpur in Pakistan. And this Bahawalpur was not an easy target. There is a Pakistan Air Force base in that particular city. So for the Indian Air Force to be able to strike a place...
Can I cut you short? And the reason I'm doing so, Ankit, is entirely because the US Secretary Marco Rubio has tweeted out, and I'm just quoting, "I'm monitoring the situation between India and Pakistan closely. I echo POTUS's comments earlier today," that POTUS is, of course, the President of the United States of America, "that this hopefully ends quickly and will continue to engage both India and Pakistan leadership towards a peaceful resolution." This is very important, viewers, because right after India conducted these strikes in Pakistan, it put out a press release where it clearly stated that this should not be read as escalatory. This was a very, very measured response only to target terrorist launch pads and terrorists, and did not touch any military establishment or installation. And what really needed to be underlined in India's response at that point of time, viewers, was this should not be seen as escalatory. Pakistan, on the other side, has called what India's attack on terror an act of war. Now, India, immediately, the NSA Ajit Doval reached out to America, briefed America on the nature of India's attack on Pakistan and why it needed to conduct it, and especially the locations where it has attacked Pakistan. And on the other hand, Pakistan has also, viewers, reached out to America. Will there now be considerable global pressure? Because the ball technically is in Pakistan's court. Pakistan can choose to look at this as India's attack on terror, however, in the kind of language expected that is coming in from the Pakistan army, from the Pakistan dispensation, political dispensation, seems to suggest that Pakistan would be looking to escalate it. We're already in a place of high escalation where there's heavy shelling going on across the line of control. And from here on, will there be enough global pressure on Pakistan to not retaliate on what was a rightful strike by India? Listen in to the President of the United States of America.
No, it's a shame. We just heard about it just as we were walking in the doors of the Oval. Just heard about it. I guess people knew something was going to happen based on a little bit of the past. They've been fighting for a long time. You know, they've been fighting for many, many decades.
Any message to
and centuries, actually, if you really think about it. No, I just hope it ends very quickly. No, it's a shame. We just heard about it just as we were walking in the doors of the Oval. Just heard about it. I guess people knew something was going to happen based on a little bit of the past. They've been fighting for a long time. You know, they've been fighting for many, many decades.
Any message to
and centuries, actually, if you really think about it. No, I just hope it ends very quickly.
All right, so at the back of it, after being briefed by India, Ajit Doval, NSA, we have also been given to understand that Pakistan has also reached out to the United States of America. The U.S. Secretary of State, Mark Rubio, has tweeted out a short while back saying, I'm monitoring the situation between India and Pakistan closely. I echo what the President's comments earlier today, that this hopefully ends quickly and will continue to engage both India and Pakistani leadership towards a peaceful resolution. I want to connect right now immediately to SP Ved, former DGP, Jammu and Kashmir. SP Ved, how do you read the situation currently? The LOC, hot, heavy shelling, not just small weaponry. We are looking at, mortar, artillery shelling coming in where the LOC is concerned. Also word coming in of India of bringing down a fighter jet from Pakistan in the Pampore sector.
See, Honorable Prime Minister promised taking revenge of what happened in Pahalgam, and I think the Indian Armed Forces, all the three services have, in a coordinated operation, hit back exactly on the terror camps, and 9 of them, I'm told, in Pakistan and POK, including Murid, which we know is the headquarters of Lashkar, and Bahawalpur, headquarters of Jaish. I think it's a significant achievement, and the whole world recognizes India's capability, and Pakistan must understand that we will hit back. India's value system, we avoided the civilian areas. We have a value system. We do not hit the civil people, though the difficulty was that most of these training camps and these terror camps are within the civilian areas. That is the difficulty. So I think a precise hit has been made by through the missiles and our systems. India has that capability. So the whole world is watching, and Pakistan should understand and not escalate. If it escalates, it will be taught lesson by Indian Armed Forces. And
Right.
my appeal through you to the people that don't listen to Pakistan's propaganda.
True.
Just listen to Indian Armed Forces press brief.
Sir, you're bang on. You're very right, because there's lots of misinformation. There are lots of claims coming in from Pakistan at this point of time. And, this is Pakistan propaganda. I think, and it's best to caution our viewers at that as well. But, Mr. Ved, do you see this as historic now, somewhere down the line? Because, you've been the former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. You've seen the situation at very close hands. Striking Murid, striking the headquarters of Jaish in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Do you think the deliverance, the deterrence that we were speaking of has finally happened?
It will have a deterrent effect, and they will think 10 times before strike. They would know that India has hit the mother of their training camps, and that means if next time, whenever they think of an attack like this, they will think twice that we can again be hit. So I think the message is very, very clear. We are long of the arm of the armed forces, can get your neck wherever you hide. That is very important.
Importantly, SP Ved, the LOC in multiple areas right now hot. What we've been given to understand, Pakistan has now started mortar and artillery shelling in Tangdhar sector of Kupwara, and this will only escalate. So we are in a situation of very high escalation, especially where the LOC is concerned.
Yes, that is the apprehension, and I think people are careful in this whole international border and the LOC of Jammu and Kashmir, and armed forces are very, very alert. If they try to escalate, we will give a befitting reply. I'm told they don't have ammunition for more than 5-6 days. So I think Pakistan better, I hope the better sense prevails and they do not escalate it. But let's hope things cool down after this. But if they try to escalate, India will give a befitting reply. And I think that our government has demonstrated.
So one final question before we let you go. A well-coordinated, precise strike where tri-services were concerned. This is historic in nature.
Yes, it is. In fact, that shows how India's armed forces work with precision. All the three services. That's why you saw during Prime Minister's meeting, CDS along with all three service chiefs and NSA. So the coordination is taking place very precisely. All three services in unison have responded to the challenge posed to India. And I think our armed forces have demonstrated that very, very clearly to the world.
Appreciate you joining us, sir. Thank you, SP Ved, for joining us this morning. Once again, viewers, one thing that we cannot emphasize enough on this morning, this would be our red letter day, where Operation Sindoor is concerned, where India's response to terror, and this is history in the making when it comes down to that, because this will go down in the annals of Indian history of how India retaliated. It doesn't just tie in to retribution or response or retaliation where Pahalgam is concerned. You can get all the way back to 26/11 and the multiple terror strikes that Pakistan has bled us with. We were speaking of how it was a tri-service strike, a well-coordinated strike with precision where all three services, be it the Air Force, the Indian Army and the Indian Navy, were concerned. Weapons of precision were used. Scalp cruise missiles, long-range air-launched cruise missiles. Their range is over 500 kilometers. And what is, one of their biggest factors that is that it strikes with precision. The warhead, 450 kgs broach warhead. Guidance, GPS, inertia, navigation system, launch platform.
यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं कि लोग भी काफी यहाँ पर आ गए हैं. हम इनसे बातचीत करने का प्रयास करते हैं. भाई साहब, मुझे बताइए कि जिस प्रकार से जो पाकिस्तान के जो आतंकी ठिकाने हैं उनको हमने ध्वस्त कर दिया है यहाँ पर, मुझे बताइए क्या कहेंगे आप? जो देर रात जो कार्रवाई हुई,
पता नहीं हमें.
अच्छा, अभी आए?
हाँ, अभी आए.
तो रात भर क्या माहौल था यहाँ?
पता नहीं, हम सोए हुए थे.
तो अभी आप बाहर आ गए. तो यहाँ पर लोग जो हैं, अभी उन्हें ज्यादातर लोग जो हैं वो कह रहे हैं कि उन्हें भी एकदम से ये जब सूचना मिली कि यहाँ पर तनाव बढ़ गया है सीमा के पास, क्योंकि यहाँ पर कुछ एक्टिविटी भी देखी गई थी, एरियल एक्टिविटी भी देखी गई थी और पाकिस्तान ने यहाँ पर दुस्साहस करने का प्रयास किया था और पाकिस्तान के हर दुस्साहस का यहाँ पर मुंहतोड़ जवाब भी दिया गया है. और यहाँ पर अगर हम देखें तो सुरक्षा बल भी भारी संख्या में तैनात है. वहाँ पर देखिए लोग भी काफी ज्यादा जमा है. हम यहाँ पर लोगों की प्रतिक्रिया भी लेंगे. लेकिन जिस प्रकार से भारत ने एक बड़ी इच्छा शक्ति दिखाई है, पाकिस्तान के जो आतंकी ठिकाने हैं उनको ध्वस्त किया गया है और ये बहुत ही बड़ा डेवलपमेंट है. जो आतंक के खिलाफ हम लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं यहाँ पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ, उसमें हमें बड़ी सफलता मिली है और उसके लिए हमने बड़े बोल्ड कदम उठाए हैं. और जिस प्रकार से किसी ने कल्पना भी नहीं की होगी कि ऐसा भी समय आएगा कि हम मुरीद के को स्ट्राइक करेंगे, हम बहावलपुर को स्ट्राइक करेंगे, क्योंकि 26/11 के आतंकी हमले के बाद भी ये बात सामने आई थी कि इस बात पर विचार किया जा रहा था कि लश्कर के जो ठिकाने हैं उनको निशाना बनाया जाए. लेकिन उस समय फिर ऐसा नहीं हुआ. लेकिन इस बार पहलगाम में जो बर्बर आतंकी हमला हुआ उसके बाद भारत ने अब कड़ी कार्रवाई की है. बताइए.
बहुत अच्छा हमला किया ये इंडियन आर्मी ने और इनका जवाब चाहिए भी था पाकिस्तान को, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान ने हमारे मासूम भाई बहन जो पहलगाम में हमला किया उसके ऊपर, और ये हमें बहुत खुशी की बात है कि इंडियन आर्मी ने उनके घर जाके घुस के मारा उनको.
यहाँ पर रात भर क्या माहौल रहा अखनूर सेक्टर की अगर हम बात करें?
रात को तो नॉर्मल ही था. तो सुबह हम जैसे 2-2:30 बजे तो हमारी नींद आवाजें आई, हमें
आवाजें यहाँ पर
आवाजें आई तो और हम जैसे ही उठे तो तब तक हो गया था ऑपरेशन. फिर हमने न्यूज चैनल खोल दिए तो आज तक
यहाँ पर भी कुछ ऑपरेशंस चल रहे हैं.
जी हाँ, अभी आर्मी कर रही है, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं अभी. ठीक है.
आप बताइए. जी आप बताइए क्या रहा रात भर यहाँ पर, क्या चलता रहा?
ये रात भर बहुत अच्छा रहा. जो पाकिस्तान को जवाब दिया है इंडियन आर्मी ने, ये बहुत अच्छा जवाब दिया. हम इसी की उम्मीद लगाए हुए थे. हम जितना अखनूर का जूथ है ये फौज के साथ खड़ा है. हमने पहले भी कहा कि हम फौज के साथ शाना बशाना खड़े हैं. भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की. इंडियन आर्मी, इंडियन आर्मी, इंडियन आर्मी. भर मत जाए।
तो यहाँ पर आप देखिए कि भारत माँ की जय का जयघोष हो रहा है, भारत माता की जय का जयघोष हो रहा है। और अगर हम देखें यहाँ पर श्वेता, इस समय आप देखिए कि सुरक्षा बल जो है भारी संख्या में तैनात है और लोगों को कहा जा रहा है कि वो एहतियातन सुरक्षित स्थानों पर जाए, क्योंकि यहाँ पर अभी भी लगातार एक्टिविटी हो रही है। और अगर देखा जाए रात भर भी यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान ने दुस्साहस करने का प्रयास किया था और उस दुस्साहस का मुंहतोड़ जवाब यहाँ पर अखनूर सेक्टर में नियंत्रण रेखा में यहाँ पर भारतीय सेना ने पाकिस्तान को दिया है। क्योंकि जैसे ही हमने पाकिस्तान में आतंकी ठिकानों को ध्वस्त किया, उसके बाद पाकिस्तान बौखला गया और पाकिस्तान ने यहाँ पर नियंत्रण रेखा पर अगर हम देखें तो तनाव बढ़ाने का यहाँ पर दुस्साहस किया और उसका मुंहतोड़ जवाब भारतीय सेना ने दिया है। यहाँ पर अगर हम देखें तो एक स्थान पर यहाँ आग भी लगी हुई है। मैं कैमरा पर्सन से कहूंगा आपको तस्वीरें दिखाएं। वो देखिए तस्वीरें, अभी फिलहाल ये स्पष्ट नहीं हो रहा है कि ये क्या हुआ है, लेकिन हमने पाकिस्तान के जो भी दुस्साहस इस क्षेत्र में हुए हैं उस दुस्साहस का मुंहतोड़ जवाब दिया है और पाकिस्तान के हर उस दुस्साहस को विफल कर दिया गया है। क्योंकि जैसे ही पाकिस्तान में आतंकी ठिकानों को हमने निशाना बनाया और पाकिस्तान के अंदर जो लश्कर के ठिकाने हैं, जैश के ठिकाने हैं, खूंखार आतंकी संगठन के जो ठिकाने हैं उनको ध्वस्त किया गया। उसके बाद बौखलाहट में पाकिस्तान ने यहाँ अगर देखा जाए तो जम्मू कश्मीर के कई इलाकों में सीज फायर का उल्लंघन किया और यहाँ पर शेलिंग भी काफी ज्यादा हुई और उसका मुंहतोड़ जवाब भारतीय सेना लगातार यहाँ पर दे रही है। श्वेता।
All right, my colleague Sunil G. Bhatt reporting from Akhnoor, where you can see the residents there. They've been coming out because it was right after that attack by India. There has been heavy artillery fire across the LOC in the Akhnoor sector and other areas of the LOC as well. We're going to continue to cut across to our correspondents who are making their way to various points of the LOC, which right now are reverberating with mortar fire. Word coming in that especially Pakistan, in Kupwara, in Uri, in Poonch, in Akhnoor, that we just pointed out there, has upped the exchange of fire, and it's no longer small firearms that are being used, but heavy mortar shelling continuing across the LOC. That was Sunil G. Bhatt reporting, but what you continue to see on your television screen, viewers, and I would reckon that that visual is going to burn into the memory space of anyone who wants to foment trouble and terrorism on Indian soil. And that is that visual of that bomb dropping in Muridke. And I want to bring in Ankit Kumar, who's going to be talking a little bit more of the importance of that visual, Ankit, because this has taken years, decades in the coming for India in terms of deliverance and retribution.
So let's talk about target number one. That's Bahawalpur. HQ of Jaish-e-Mohammed, roughly 100 kilometers from international border, situated on a highway but very close to a Pakistan Air Force base. So you have to understand why Masood Azhar felt so safe establishing Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters at a place where Pakistani fighter jets would be stationed only a few kilometers away. And as I said earlier, 2 months back, using satellite imagery, we established how this HQ has been expanding ever since Pakistan was sort of whitelisted from FATF grey list. So that's target number one, responsible for Pathankot attack, responsible for Parliament attack, responsible for hundreds of attacks over past 30 years. That's the HQ. That is where all the Jaish cadres, all the Jaish commanders used to gather, all the planning was. That was the nerve center of Jaish-e-Mohammed, led by Maulana Masood Azhar. Second, Muridke, roughly 30 kilometers from Samba border. That is the nerve center of Hafiz Muhammad Saeed's Lashkar. Remember, Hafiz lives in Lahore, but Lashkar lives in Muridke. Very small tehsil, very small place. Again, right besides a highway, but slightly more populated than Jaish-e-Mohammed's HQ. Muridke first came into light after the 26/11 attack, when all the dossiers pointed towards this one place called Muridke. Even the Western intelligence from US, from UK pointed towards this place called Muridke. So justice has been due for Muridke for past 30 years now. Third location, again, it's a place called Gulpur, roughly 35 kilometers from Poonch Rajouri. Why this place was so important? Because in 2023, there was an attack in Poonch. Intelligence pointed towards this place. This was the epicenter where everything everything was planned, all the training was done. So that is why this particular target was picked. Fourth target, again, what Pakistanis call Sawai Mosque, we call it Lashkar Camp Sawai. Again, inside POK, Tangda sector. Our intelligence agencies believe that the perpetrators of Pahalgam attack used this particular place.
Okay.
Right. So that is why it is important. So when we talk about all these targets, it is not only limited to Pahalgam. This is a revenge for past 30 years of terrorism that has been bleeding India into several cuts. Remember Mumbai, remember Pathankot, remember Uri, everything. All those targets, those 9 centers have been picked. No symbolism here, right? These are actions with very solid consequences, right? To be able to strike a place which is only few kilometers away from a PAF base, this is no joke. This is no symbolism. So India has now kind of upped the ante. This cannot be compared with Balakot, cannot be compared with Uri. It is much, much, much higher level of response, hitting Jaish-e-Mohammed HQ, hitting Lashkar HQ, as well as those launch pads in POK, in Muzaffarabad, in Kotli. That is so important.
You know, that's where Ankit elucidating why India chose with precision, why India took 2 weeks, and if I can use the word, to curate the terror launch pads that India needed to strike. And viewers, like I said, this night has been history in the making. It's a watershed moment in India's response when it came down to retaliation against terror coming in from Pakistan soil. India will remember this, and so will Pakistan. Till now, what we do know is, we are expecting a press brief where the statement that has come in from the army, that justice have been delivered, Operation Sindoor has been a success. You have the defense minister who said Bharat Mata Ki Jai. And at the back of it, just right after, India conducted these strikes on Pakistan responsibly. As a responsible nation, we put out a press release in which what really is that needed to be read were 4 lines, where India said this is not escalation. This was a measured, non-escalatory response. It also said that India only targeted terror hotspots and launch pads and did not strike any Pakistan military establishment or installation. At the back of it, Pakistan admitted to these strikes, however, called this an act of war. India striking on these terror outfits, calling it an act of war. I want to cut across. We have Sunil G. Bhatt and Asim Basi with us. Sunil, what's the latest? You're at the Akhnur sector, lots of shelling where the border areas are concerned across the LSC. What are you picking up?
Preeti, right now we are in Akhnur sector of Jammu region, and late last night there was some air activity here also. India carried out strikes on the terror hotspots in Pakistan as well as in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Lashkar's headquarters, which is located in Muridke, there many places were targeted, as well as in Bahawalpur where Jaish's headquarters is located. And as far as Akhnur sector is concerned, after India carried out strikes against Pakistan, Pakistan tried to indulge in a misadventure, and there was air activity here in Akhnur sector also, and Indian Army gave a befitting reply to Pakistan here. And right now you can see that a large number of people have come out of their